That is what's going to be fundamental here. So the way they handle Palin going forward is going to be very interesting because they don't seem to be able to have a rally with McCain by himself because it's Palin that brings out the crowds. That limits their ability to cover a lot of ground on the map, but they have to be together all the time. And it's going to, I would imagine, I could be wrong, but I would imagine that 2 months from now, people are going to be asking, hey, you're supposed to be the president here, guy. Can you win this election by yourself? Do you need someone who has barely any experience at all to strap you on her back to get across the finish line? What does it say about your ideas and your policies and your leadership skills? They also have to deal with the fact that they obviously are not comfortable having Sarah Palin do a lot of real interviews. So the next interview after doing ABC World News Tonight is to go on Sean Hannity on Fox News, which will obviously be a far more friendly environment. Sean Hannity probably being the biggest of the right-wing lackeys in the conservative media machine. I don't think they will never have her do a regular interview again, but I bet they are going to very much parse these out. She's not going to be doing a whole lot of media. They're going to keep her doing scripted speeches and doing friendly media as much as possible. Now, that may not make people care. I don't know if people are going to be pounding their fists on the table, where's my Sarah Palin interview? But it is probably going to diminish her prominence on the scene. I don't think we're going to have week after week after week of Sarah Palin mania. I would bet this is going to be the end of that. And we're going to get back to the race being about Obama and McCain. And as the Obama people have pointed out, and what I had indicated in my initial Sarah Palin analysis, they have thrown the experience argument out the window. They've accurately recognized that that was not a winning argument, that people care more about the direction of the country than they care about length of resume. They want to have a basic sense of comfort that they are prepared for the job, but they're not necessarily saying, oh, you have 10 years and you have 5 years, I'm going to go with the person who has 10 years. They want to know what you're going to do. What you're going to do for me, what you're going to do for the country, what you're going to do for our global standing, what you're going to do on the economy, on energy, on healthcare, our infrastructure. So they have now conceded that this is an election about change. How are you going to change from the failures of the past 8 years? The conservative failures of the past 8 years. And they are failures that John McCain has voted for repeatedly, and those he did not vote for, he has flip-flopped on. And Sarah Palin, now they've tried to make Sarah Palin a co-maverick, someone who has fought for reform in Alaska, but their central claim, this has also been coming out over the past week, is that her claim that she said thanks but no thanks to the infamous Bridge to Nowhere is an outright lie. Because she was a champion of that bridge when she was running for governor. And it was only when it became a political liability that she flip-flopped. So there's that still out there. There's also the question about her tax returns that the Obama campaign is forcing the issue on. Joe Biden has now released 10 years of his tax returns. We found from the Washington Post this week that she had been getting taxpayer money for working at home, treating that as some sort of travel expense. And not to mention billing the taxpayers for taking her children on business trips to New York City. That cosmopolitan New York City that Giuliani was strangely deriding. So those things are still percolating. Troopergate's still percolating. All these things will say more in the end potentially say more about John McCain and his presidential decision-making abilities. Did you vet this person? When you're making decisions how to staff your government, are you going to vet people appropriately? Or are you going to make sloppy political decisions?